Hello, Assalamualaikum and a very good day to everyone. My name is Nur Aizati binti Muhammad. My matrix number is 33DTM21F1069. Our discussion today is about CO2 emission in Malaysia. So here is our first presenter, which is
Good morning, and my name is Farid Azman Mezana Azman, matrix number 33DTM21F1050.
I'll explain to him about the discussion that we're going to talk about. So actually, according to BP research, you know what BP is? It's British Petroleum Research.
Oh, I see.
Malaysia's CO2 emission amounted to 250.3 million tons last year, up from 241.6 million, if I'm not mistaken, in 2017. So you can see that there's a lot of increase.
Increase in number.
Yes. So the main sources of the emission were energy, electricity consumption, mobility as in transportation as in cars, and you know what I mean, and waste, municipal solid waste that ends up in landfill. So we're gonna discuss about the causes, effect, and the solution. Yeah. So what do you think about why does the CO2 emission in Malaysia is increasing year by year?
It's because, as you can see, we're putting Japan as our example. Because Japan, it's good. It's good because we put Japan as our example, but we need to follow up what they need to do to balance the ecosystem in their place. As you can see, Japan trying to use reusable energy, solar energy, and the same type of that kind of energy. But Malaysia keep using the same thing like
petroleum.
gas. Petroleum.
Yes.
We can put petroleum because petroleum is quite large amount of number that we can produce in a year. Because Malaysia is one of the place that you can invest on petroleum. As we can see, like Petronas, Shells, Petron, all of that.
All the companies are here.
Three of the companies likely wise to invest in our country because our management system is quite good. It's not perfect, but it's quite good. So as you can see now, it's getting worse.
Compared to other countries.
To other countries.
So did you know that open burning is also one of the reasons that CO2 emission is increasing year by year? So there's, if I'm not mistaken, there's 3 type of open burning, like residential, which is
it just occurred in a residential area.
Residence area. You burn things like waste, like small waste, and then there's a deliberate open burning, like in the land dump site near the factories. We have like open dump sites, so they sometimes burn it there
because they were too lazy to put it.
Which causes a lot of CO2 emissions. So I think that we need a solution for this because there's too many side effects of it, such as greenhouse warming, global warming.
These side effects that give us from the CO2 emissions is really impactful on our country.
Actually, this is not only happening in Malaysia; it's also happening in the whole world. It's just everywhere. Everywhere is every country in this world is.
As you can see in Africa, Uzbekistan, Canada, Netherlands, and also the most heated country is China, because China is far more way. They can produce things, but they didn't have the management they need to do the certain things in the right way. Open burning can be one of the reasons why this is.
Transportation also.
And transportation. My bad. Okay, transportation and open burning can be a big gift to the CO2 emissions. So do you think that there's other things than open burning and transportation that can provide the CO2 in our country?
The effect of construction also increase the CO2 emission in Malaysia because carbon dioxide is one of the most commonly used compressed gases from pneumatic system in portable pressure tools that are used in the construction industry. So like MIG or MAG is welding uses carbon dioxide as an atmosphere as a means of protecting the weld puddle from the surrounding air and oxidizing. So however, more significantly, there are considerable emission of carbon dioxide as a result of activities that construct and then operate built assets. So as we can see now, how the that we discussed, there are three main causes, which is transportation, open burning, and construction. Okay, one of the side effects that we have from the CO2 emission is the carbon cycle. You know what carbon cycle is?
Yeah, it's a cycle of carbon, yeah, like oxygen and everything.
Yeah.
Sort of this stuff.
Under normal circumstances, CO2 is a natural part of the life in cycle on Earth. You know.
Yeah.
So animals and humans exhale CO2, and plants absorb the gas and produce oxygen. Carbon passes between the air, land, and sea as plants and animals live and die. In the past, these cycles remain balanced with carbon outputs and carbon absorption, running relatively even. So the industrial revolution changed that balance. Carbon dioxide produced by burning fossil fuels for heat, transportation, and manufacturing upsets this balance. An imbalanced carbon cycle threatens to alter climate and change land use and living habitats. Di sini ada.
Carbon cycle. Okay, that's a fun fact.
Yeah.
So I think I heard one word that everyone used to say about greenhouse.
Oh, the
So
greenhouse effect
Yeah.
from the CO2
Yeah,
emission,
can you like explain it to me, because
Yeah, sure.
it's quite not understandable for me.
Okay, the major threat from increased CO2 is the greenhouse effect. As a greenhouse gas, excessive CO2 creates a cover that traps the sun's heat energy in the atmospheric bubble, warming the planet and the oceans. An increase in CO2 plays havoc with the Earth's climate and causing changes in weather patterns. According to the EPA, humans release 30 billion tons of CO2 into the atmosphere every year. So because each CO2 molecule might last for up to 200 years, this carbon overload can have long-term consequences. So you can think it properly, like
If there's a lot of layers, there will be more heat.
yes, and when it's global warming, the ice cube on the south and
Yes.
south and
South, and I think you can say that when the heat wave comes, like we can say that every year sun will release a heat wave, and the CO2
yes,
is just keeping from the heat from Earth going out. So when the heat wave comes, it's not balanced, because
Yeah.
we receive heat more than we
Yes,
release.
yes.
So by that, actually the BP research also says that the water level is increasing because of the Antarctica.
Yeah, because of the global warming,
global
right?
warming, yeah. Because by then the Antarctica and every globe they have snow, like
Yeah.
icebergs and everything like that. It's melting. That's all I can say. It's melting and it's increasing
the
water level.
water level in the
Because
Earth, right?
just now, about 2 months before this, there's actually an incident, because one of the island that live longer, that were there longer than us, were like eaten by water, because the water level just increases enormously. So we cannot control anything about it unless we do the things that can reduce the CO2 emissions in our world. Solution. So maybe you have any idea how to reduce the CO2 emission in Malaysia?
Yeah, well, I do have. Like,
Do
so-
tell me that.
we can promote the electrical vehicle use, because electrical vehicle, which is EV, have a great potential as a way for cities to reduce local air pollution, which is CO2, and many others.
Yeah.
molecules that pollute the earth, right?
Yeah.
Greenhouse gas emissions and transport sector for fossil fuel use. Coupled with the renewable energy, EVs can produce zero emission at the vehicle tailpipe and much lower life cycle emissions.
Okay.
So that we can see that promoting the electrical vehicle
Yeah, electrical vehicle.
is a must. So
Yeah.
that's my point. How about yours? Do you have any solutions for it?
I think, yeah, as you can see, petroleum. Petroleum is some sort of liquid or fuel that we can take from either drilling in our core of Earth to take any fossils that produce petroleum. But by then, like if you drink, let's say milk, say milk or Milo, some sort. You put Milo and you put some milk in it. If you just stir it and put it left it about half an hour, it will. I think it will left like some of dust at the bottom. So
Yes.
that's what we call waste.
Yes.
Okay, it's just the same thing as petroleum. You're drilling something up, you drilling fuel up, you can see
You'll
that.
cause many ways.
Yes, many ways. So I think by that you can reduce the emissions that will happen.
So that's all for our discussion, and thank you Farid Azman for the talk.
Thank you. Okay, thank you for my moderator too. I'm Gizati.
So that's it.
That's
Thank you
it
so
from
much.
us. Thank you so much.
Have a great day.